So good afternoon, ladies. I've got two of my favorite people actually to hang out with. So I was excited to get them on the video this afternoon, and we've been discussing a ton of stuff. So first, let me introduce a couple of my buddies from Now CFO. Let me get this screen share up and running. So can you guys see that okay? So Danene, tell us your last name. So we'll come back to Now CFO, but pronounce your last name because I know I'm going to butcher it.
It is Bottiaux.
Okay, that's Bottiaux. I should know that. That's very Cajun, right? Is that right?
French, yeah.
French. Okay, that's why I get the Cajun part. And then I also have to her stage, I guess stage right, is that Rachel Burns. So welcome, ladies. So these are two good buddies of mine that I met. Let's see. So I guess my friend Alex Damp told me that you were moving down here, Danene.
Yeah.
And then I introduced you to my friend Rachel, who's an Eckerd connector. You hijacked her and hired her in
Denver,
Colorado. So that's why my background is this, Don Cesar Beach. I'm hoping at some point we can lure her back to the great state of Florida. So welcome, ladies. So I thought I would touch on that. So you're with Now CFO, so I want to get that up on the page. Hopefully you guys can see that. And my little puppy dog, Lily Bell, she's starting to become famous. I get more comments about her than anything else. But so you guys are a fractional CFO firm. You do a ton of different stuff. So do you want to touch on that real quick, Danene? And then I'm going to kind of circle back to Rachel about why we decided to do this as quickly as we did. So go ahead and tell us about Now CFO.
Definitely. So we are a national outsourced accounting firm. We specialize in part-time and project-based operational accounting support. We are staffed anywhere from a bookkeeper all the way to a full-fledged CFO and everything in between. Really what we love to do is just be that consultant for companies going through a lot of change and growth. So, I mean, externally to our clients, it's no contracts, no minimums. We just bill hourly whatever they need. Internally, we have about 300 consultants on our payroll, and we outsource them to companies while they get kind of the luxury of having a W-2 salaried position.
All right, that's awesome. Well, we've got, obviously I've got, my ties are up in Kentucky, but it looks like you guys are close. You're in Nashville, so you can help there. So I've got a bit of a follow-up in that area. Obviously here in Florida, you've established a pretty great presence over the last year that I've known you. I know you've been hustling everywhere. Atlanta, I know. And then we've got out in the West, it looks like you guys are quite solid. You guys are based out of Salt Lake City, right? If I remember.
Yeah, that's where we are founded. So we're about 36 markets at this point. I think we're almost to 18 different states. So we have clients in every single state in the US. So just because we don't have a pin in that state doesn't mean we're not working there, because we'll work anywhere.
It just means they haven't conned you into going working in the lower Alabama and Mississippi.
Don't give them ideas.
Okay. So, all right. Well, that's great. So if you want to catch them on LinkedIn, that's probably one of the better ways to connect. They put a lot of great stuff out, but Danene here, and then Rachel is here. So we'll jump ahead a little bit. I want to try and cover really the reason this came up. I'm going to stop the screen share for just a second. The reason this came up is, Rachel, you invited me to the CARES Act, right? I saw Monday or maybe last Friday, but you guys shared a really great webinar this week. Do you want to share with us just kind of the things that you're hearing from employers and why the popularity of that webinar took off?
Yeah, absolutely. So as most of you know or have heard, there are SBA loan packages, the CARES Act coming out with a bunch of different things, the EIDL, the 10K grant, the PPP, the payroll tax deferral, and the lost carryback refund. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of that. So those webinars are really focused on, doing a deeper dive, having our clients and prospects and just businesses and nonprofits and sole proprietorships to understand their eligibility and how to file. So I'm going to tell you just a few regulations regarding those, and that's kind of what we've been talking about to our clients and prospects, and doing conversations like this, collaborations to get the information to the masses. So those are, having to do with payroll costs, employee benefits, commissions, salaries, rents, utilities. So those are different, areas that these loans can be used once the business receives them. And then Danene, I know that we've been talking heavily about these different packages and what's going on, but more importantly, it's the next steps. What do businesses do after they receive these loans, and how can they stay afloat moving forward? So I think this is a great transition for you to kind of dig a little bit deeper in what we're doing with our clients on the strategy aspect of, what we're finding right now in these times.
Yeah, definitely. Dennis, do we want to pull up that economic one sheet, or do you want to just?
Yeah, let me share this. Yeah, because that's, a lot of this stuff that I was hearing, there's only so much money. Some of the people, like, you need to be applying for some of this is like pretty pressing. And
Yes.
so we shared a little bit of information with some of our clients on Friday around PPP, the payroll protection stuff. So yeah, where are we going with this? I think that's, we need to be looking at that now just because it's moving so fast. So go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So what we're noticing right now is, a lot of banks are still figuring out regulations, but by this time next week, really, that's the topic is going to come and go. And really now businesses are just waiting for their money and hopefully getting some of it within the next week or two. But really, there's a lot of wording that's confusing, and we're all figuring things out day by day. And so we're really wanting to shift the conversation with our business owners to, now what are these next steps, and how can they be very proactive in making sure that when they can open their doors back up and people can start coming back into the office and their revenue starts to see, an upward turn, that, they're prepared for it and they're still around for all of this. And so, what we're seeing right now is that people are saying this, recession in a sense will be maybe August, September is hopeful of when we're going to see things almost go back to normal. So it should be a pretty short recession. So really companies need to just kind of hunker down and make some aggressive decisions right now. So some main things really we're starting to have conversations with our clients are, the first thing is manage your cash flow. I mean, you're going to get this money, and if you're not understanding your break-even point of really what your cost is to keep the doors open every single month, and then pairing that with your cash flow, it's going to be a key thing. So right now we're having those conversations with clients, and our consultants are the ones building these things out and really being that kind of sounding board for our clients as they make these decisions. Having a lot of comparative financial statements, maybe it's rebuilding a budget, right? A lot of us had something built beginning of the year because we were hopeful of, all the positive things happening, and we did not expect this. So, a lot of budgets need to be redone. I would say that's a big piece there. And I mean, kind of tying back to what Rachel said, I think the top point too is, we want the PPP to be forgivable. So what are the regulations around it? I think a piece of it, and Rachel could probably touch on the regulations for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that's a key thing to remember.
Yeah. So the PPP, you want me to talk about like that they provide 8 weeks of, okay.
No,
yeah.
So the percentage of it, I think, what is it, 25%? I can't remember the percentage of what.
It is, so rates are tiered based on the loan amount.
Correct.
And if you're using more than 25% for non-payroll, then there are percentages. So the interest rates are 1% for loans that are more than $350,000. I just want to make sure I'm getting my information right, so I'm reading off my little
I'm sure it'll change again. We've seen it change every day. Who knows?
Yeah.
Information that we're receiving, and that these small businesses are having to deal with. I mean, it's ever changing. It's changing daily. Yeah. It's changing, multiple times a week. So we just really want to stay on the forefront of the correct information. So
yeah.
5% for loans more than 350 and less than 2 million, and then it's 0.25% for loans of at least 2 million. So
perfect.
Those are around that. Yeah. Thank you, Danene.
Yeah. Yep. And so just remembering those interest rates, because as you're, you have to speak to what you've used those funds for. So if you're not utilizing them for payroll or what they said on that list, if you can't prove it, then you're going to have to pay interest on it, and you're going to have to pay it back. And so what we're helping first is just help our clients track where they're spending all these funds so that they can get as much forgiven as possible. There are regulations around where you can't use the EIDL and the PPP for the same thing. So you have to make sure you're tracking, right? It's all these little details of it that our consultants are well versed on and are getting updates every single day from our team, just to make sure that at the end of all this, they have the right tracking. So a lot of business owners, they're extremely overwhelmed. They're stressed about the fact of just keeping their business around. These little details aren't things that we want our clients worrying about. We want them to know that we're here to handle this for them. So yeah.
So I love that concept. I mean, first of all, this is just a crisis, right? It happens to be the crisis right now. And yes, I will give everyone credit that it is like, this is pretty, worldwide and never anything we've ever seen before. But at some point, things will settle back and get to normal, and we have to operate our businesses. I've heard of people like, we generally have this natural instinct is like fight or flight. I've seen business owners who are like, I don't even know how to tackle this, so I'm out. Like they're talking about shutting their doors down. And when they do the math and they actually understand their financials, they really can maintain. And there's some opportunity with any, a lot of times any challenge or any crisis creates opportunity. So taking a minute, taking a breath, figuring out where you're at and establishing where you are is critical. You guys have always done a good job of communicating, hey, you got to have your financials in order. And so many companies we deal with don't. I was joking with one of my partners saying, hey, how many businesses did you run into this week that just don't have any grasp of it, and somehow they're still doing well? And there's some balance in there, but I think ultimately you help people function and understand their financials so they can go and understand their cash flow. Those are things that I've seen that are amazing. And the fact that some of this money is forgivable if you manage it correctly is awesome. The worst thing would be to get the money, and then not be forgivable just because you missed an accounting piece. I think that would be tragic. So I love that. Is there anything else that you guys really feel like, hey, the audience needs to know, like right now? We'll post, I know you have this checklist that we're going to make available. I'll put the email addresses to contact you ladies in the bottom of the video, so we can get that out to everybody. Is there anything else you feel like, hey, we need to share that's like pertinent, that would be important for the future as well, as we look past some of this pandemic?
Yeah, so I would tell them just to be on the lookout. I know Rachel and I are going to be posting a lot of things. As a firm, we really are trying to be at the forefront of this and be the expert that business owners can rely on to constantly kind of have this, we're calling it like a roadmap almost, for this entire thing. So we're going to start pushing out, webinars on next steps and diving in deeper to these little things that we can help, companies with just to get through it. So I would be on the lookout. Even if they just need like a CFO to call once a week just to have a conversation with, I think that's a lot of my clients leveraging, just saying, I would just love an hour brainstorming. And that's all our clients pay for, but it just gives them an opportunity to just bounce ideas off of and start to have someone they can think details through clearly with. So I would say between that and then, we're going to start pushing out some webinars and making sure that, business owners have somewhere to go just to get ideas on whether they use us or not. We just want to make sure that we're helping people. That's the number one for us.
Kind of a moving target, right? And it's moving, this is some of the fastest. The only thing that's moved faster than this is the popularity of Tiger King. So do either one of you have a strong opinion?
That's the question. Have you watched it?
Yeah, have I watched it? I was immediately obsessed. I think I'm going to start my new question because I'm here in Tampa. Carol Bascom is actually in my, not very far from where we live, right? So you guys know that. So have you two watched it before I ask you the question?
So Danene has.
I made the end of episode 3, and I was so uncomfortable. I had to pause for a minute. I was so upset. I couldn't continue for a minute.
I have to admit, it's just confusing. Setting, it throws off.
So emotional about it.
Yes, I don't know.
It's another world.
Doc is a psycho. Those poor women. I want to go there and be like, jump in my car, I'll rescue you.
The thing is, I love big cats, and it's made me concerned that, at what step do you love big cats too much and you turn into what? I don't even know. What do you call this? It's just a whole different, yeah.
It's kind of a little culty, I think. Yeah. It's a little weird, and it's just a different world. That's how I like to explain it. It's like, it's a whole new world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah. Yeah. It's bizarre. I literally, I have no words, but I am somewhat just overwhelmed by it all. My son made the comment today that he goes, I love the fact that this guy is literally violently transparent. Like, he is who he is. There is no gray area.
It makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, oh my God, you're too comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, very much. Very much. All right. So listen, we digress. So I do need a little humor in my life. It's Friday afternoon. I'm a little slap happy. So listen, you ladies, I know you guys do a great job. I know you can help navigate our clients. You guys take really good care of the businesses that are you know, they start to expand, and I just see more and more demands on the C-suite, the CFO especially. HR is just getting waylaid with some of this stuff. And if you're in the HR space and you don't necessarily have a company that's got a CFO, this is going to be a really critical partner for you. If you are a CFO and you're not certain of everything, because who of us can know everything, you have to have good partners. I love where you guys fit in the space. So thank you for that. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap up for the day?
No, I mean, I think.
All right. Well, I know I'm probably between you guys and hopefully happy hour somewhere, whether virtually or within your own living room, whatever it might be. So enjoy
happy
your
hours
weekend.
in my fridge.
Yeah. Thank you
Putting
so much.
Yeah.
Say it one more time, Rach. Sorry.
Sorry, I don't know if there's a lag. I feel like I'm talking over you. I just said thank you for inviting us on. I think this is great information to give to the masses, and you know, just everyone know that Danene and I are here. We work as a team.
Yeah.
Questions, like she said, you know, we could jump on a 10-15 minute call if you need us to do a deeper dive, and you know, we just hope everyone can stay afloat through these tough times, and this is the beautiful thing, collaboration, right? Coming together as a community and really bringing the information out to the community. So thank you. I love what you're doing.
Yeah,
thank you. You're very kind. There's parts of this whole pandemic that I absolutely hate, and it's scary and everybody's anxiety's up. But there's two things that I think actually have helped me, and I think help people, is when you reach out and try and help others, which is my goal here. And then, you know, to just look for the opportunities. And this has been a great opportunity to highlight. I have some great relationships and great partnerships, and I never know who I know that might need them. So I'm just trying to get that out, because I can't introduce you physically in the same room, unfortunately, which is obviously what we'd all prefer, I think, especially my personality. But if we can't do that, this is the next best thing. And honestly, I don't hate it. Like, this is kind of great. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great weekend. Listen, stay healthy, stay safe. And Danene, when you get the energy and you can get your emotional space where you need it to be, you need to finish this. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. We appreciate it very much. Let me know if there's anything we can do for you.